Hi, good morning. Greg and I were taking the day off. It's Valentine's Day. Gregory the Great, Jerome of Navarre. And we're here, we're going to talk about Valentine's Day and what it means. And so we're going to go to the number one go-to, Google. So Greg's going to Google it.
Hey Google, who was Saint Valentine?
According to Wikipedia, Saint Valentine was a 3rd century Roman saint, commemorated in Western Christianity on February 14th and in Eastern Orthodoxy on July 6th. From the High Middle Ages, his saint's day has been associated with a tradition of courtly love. He is also a patron saint of Terna, epilepsy, and beekeepers.
Oh, that was nice. I didn't know that he was the patron saint of beekeepers. Huh?
I didn't either. Bees are important.
The bees are important. I wonder why, because of the sting of love. You know, I love Valentine's Day. I have a ritual I've scheduled for my Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So how about you? What you think about St. Valentine's? You want to talk about St. Valentine's first, or you want me to talk about St. Valentine's?
No, go ahead. You talk about Saint Valentine.
All right, St. Valentine's, from my understanding, Wikipedia gave a good definition. It mentioned a lot about Christianity. It did mention that there's several churches. You have it mentioned the Orthodox Church, and then I can't remember the first church it mentioned.
Western Christianity.
Western Christianity, so that must be Roman Catholic. So St. Valentine's to me was always taught that he was in love with somebody and he was in prison. And so this girl he was in love with, he used to write love notes to her. He'd write her letters and tell her how much he misses her. And I think he even went to his death in prison. But while he was there, he wrote this girl, don't know her name, and I'm sure they do, I'm sure you can Google it, that he loved her. So that's where all this Valentine's come from. Medieval times, and even for me today, I bought dozen roses, some candy, a little card. I bought a stuffed animal, a bunch of balloons, some pajamas, and I hand decorated some of my gifts. For I didn't just go to the store and buy stuff. And I bring that to my wife because that's what it's about. It's about reminding people that you love them. A national day to tell them you love them, that they are your sweetheart. You're gonna, in your time of everyday living, you're gonna stop and you're gonna profess your love to that individual. Valentine's was really, really important when I was younger, because they used to have to make little Valentine's Day bags to take to school, and we had the little Valentine's Day card, and we would have to say, "Will you be my Valentine's?" I think I used to love them little candy hearts, and they would say love or kiss me or be mine. I can't remember what the name of them are, but I'll probably Google it and put a picture on there. And I used to love that. Remember, didn't you used to give out little Valentine's Day cards at your elementary school?
Oh yes, we'd have to bring so many. We'd have a time just for that. You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
Were you embarrassed to go up to a girl and say, "Be my Valentine's"? Oh, I used to blush.
I don't know. I thought it was just something that we were doing. So, would you? Yeah, it was just something we were doing. Not like I would give out candy or anything. It was the same people every year, because I went to my class, it was the same people. I went to school, and very few changed from first grade to 8th grade.
Oh, yeah, I did too, but we had our grade had different teachers, so we had different homerooms.
Yeah.
So they were the same kids, but one year, maybe I didn't go with Mike, and he was in another year, and then next year I'd have him in another class. But it wasn't, because my Catholic school, we had a group, that year we stayed with that group of children, that whole year. But then the next year, it was mixed up a little bit.
Oh.
You know? Do you remember the old school pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Man, where we'd line up and they have all the little heads, or you'd be in your uniform and you get out on the stage, have the teacher
That's
with
right. Standing on the steps in front of church.
Yeah, and then it had some of them had a little placard would say Mrs. Hastings, 5th grade class, 1975 or whatever. I'll see if I can find some pictures of that on there, man. Valentine's Day, it just brings back so many memories in my life. I've had a great time on Valentine's Day. Some of the best times of my life.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I always thought it was just another day.
Not for me, man. Of course, I'm really into love. I love love. And all the women that's been in my lives, I've always loved them. And even my mom, I would make special things for my mom on Valentine's Day. Even my sisters, I don't remember, but I'm sure my sisters probably would crumble it up and make me eat it or something. They didn't care, but I'm just an emotional kind of guy. I always liked Valentine's. And it really, when I used to be a salesman, I used to win for years. I was a salesman. I was #1 salesman. And, but we won't go into that. But I always won the roses. So every year, for as long as I can remember, when did I start? I can't remember how long I worked at Pepsi. 13 years, maybe 13 years. 8 years in sales. Every 8 years since then, I always got roses. I always won a long stem, real expensive roses. Just like a lot of people don't understand about roses. Roses, okay, we can talk about this. Let's talk about roses, the plant. Okay, because long stem roses are not natural roses. They are bred. They're a hybrid. A rose is a bush. You didn't know that?
Right, it's a bush.
It's a bush. And they would, back in the 15th, when the Catholic Church was into grafting of plants they were into science. A lot of our science that we study came from the Catholic Church. And it's nunneries and it's monkeries or whatever you call monasteries. A lot of things in our civilization come from that. But the hybrid plant, like we think nowadays, we're the hybrid. Hybrids ain't new. They've been, look at there. You got anything you want to talk about Valentine's before we close up? Because we're about out of time.
Oh, no. Just another thing about St. Valentine's is he's the patron saint of beekeepers, because bees are so very important to the pollination of our plants so that we have food.
What about the pollination of roses?
Pollination of roses, all the different plants that they pollinate everything. And I think that's just God's idea, helping us understand, that he's there to help us understand how life continues on. Right? That we have to have that little gift in us.
That little bit of love.
That little bit of love in us to share with other people.
Share with other people. Hey, you know what they say? We love you, but go ahead, Greg.
Don't be afraid.
God bless you.